Hello, this is Ferrante Frazier, and this is another episode of Natural as F. We had a wonderful show last week. We were running out of time, so we're going to finish off what we started last week. Our topic last week was, living matter heals itself. So we were pretty much discussing how the human body has a remarkable ability to heal worn out, get rid of worn out tissue, repair damage, and that damage can be from, you know, internal damage, damage from daily wear and tear, damage from our bad habits. So wherever the damage comes from, the body remarkable ability to heal itself is seen even to the lowest cell. So the lowest cell is seen to go through a period of healing when its structure has been damaged or its function has been compromised. All right, so I want to thank you for tuning into our show every week, where you can get valuable information about how to properly restore your body back to health naturally, without all this gimmicks, without all this, trying to find some cure out here on Google, or trying to, look into some ancient books on trying to find some type of remedy, when the cure is actually going on in your body as you speak. Your symptoms are your cure to the toxic environment that you have internally. There is just that one disease, a toxic internal environment. We call it toxemia in natural hygiene, which is poison blood. Toxemia. Tox being toxic or toxins, and emia being blood. And when you put those two together, Dr. Tilden came up with the Toxemia Theory. And he explained it as being that the blood of us are become really toxic, and that toxic blood have to start, well, it's irritating, but it also have to find a alternative route in which to, you know filter it, because the reason why this blood become toxic is through what he calls innervation. Now, innervation is when your body runs out of functioning power. Long as you got vitality, your body will do the work of healing, repairing, and restoring itself and keeping itself clean. But once your vitality runs low because you used it all up in your haphazard lifestyle, or you're not getting enough rest and sleep to regenerate vitality and energy and power, then your body is not going to function properly because it's not going to have any power to function. And if your kidneys is not functioning properly because it has no power, or is tired and worn out from abuse and overuse, because you're constantly drinking poisonous drinks, eating foods that require the kidneys to filter out crystals like sugar, salt, and a bunch of uric crystals, then your organ is going to be fatigued and tired. And then if it's fatigued and tired, then it's not going to filter the blood anymore. It can't filter the blood if it's tired and weak. So if your lifestyle don't change and you still bringing in waste into your blood, then your blood is going to quickly become poisonous. It's going to accommodate a bunch of poison. So it's going to become highly toxic. Now, this blood can't stay highly toxic for long because it must maintain a certain pH balance. So when acids and toxins build up in the blood starts dropping in its pH balance. And so it got to start pulling from different organs and tissues to neutralize the blood. So they have to pull from the bones calcium. They have to pull from the muscles magnesium. They have to pull from the nerves potassium, and other cells potassium. So it pull and leaches out its alkaline minerals to keep and buffer the blood from becoming acidic. But over time, we have a wasting away after a while of this toxic situation, and we done leached out all our calcium. and we done leached out all our magnesium, and we got potassium being, we're low in potassium now because we done leached out all our potassium. Now we're suffering with chronic issues in our body. So the theory is that we first become innervated, and then toxemia builds up in our body, in our blood, and in our tissue. So poison is the cause behind every disease. Now, where your disease manifests itself is in your weakest organ. Whatever organ that is the weakest that you've been overusing, or you had a genetic defect to, that's the one that's going to be the first one to cry out in some type of illness. That's what you're going to manifest as your sickness in that due time, when the body no longer have any vitality to function properly. Toxins have built up to an intolerable amount. So the body now is in a state of a crisis. It's in a crisis state. It has no energy. It's full of waste. Organs and tissues are shutting down. So you're in a chronic state of a crisis. And this is our diseases that we're suffering from now. We want to wish to blame it on little parasites and all kind of stuff, but it's due to innovation. Doesn't matter what you're suffering from. According to this theory, it's all backed up. You can trace all of these diseases right back to poison blood, and you can trace the poison blood back to low functioning power, where organ and tissue has been damaged and it's not functioning, or it's ran out of energy. Because if it's busted up, if the organ is busted up or abused, that means that it ran out of energy. Because as long as energy there, the body heals rapidly. As long as vitality there, like you see in kids bodies heal like that because they full of vitality. But the old rundown person body never heals. The wounds and sores stay wide open in them. The bones stay broken up. It takes forever for organs and tissues and cells to heal in the old person, because they have no power. Their vitality has been squandered away throughout life. The young child body heals rapidly. So the whole objective, according to Dr. Tilden in the theory, is to keep high energy. And long as you keep high energy, the organs that keep the blood clean will do so. The organs and tissues that keep the body clean, and systems that keep the body clean, will do so. But once the vitality of the body reaches low, depleting states, then those organs and tissues have no power to do their job. And so the toxins, they accumulate in the body, start irritating the body, causing inflammation in the body, causing ulceration, leading to hardening, and then eventually cancer or some metamorphosis of the cells and tissues. So these are just the stages that the body go through when when innovation is present due to our daily lifestyle habits. But the good thing about it is that's just the stage of disease and how we go down into it. But here in our show that we started talking on last week is that living matter has a remarkable ability to heal itself. Well, let's look at that. Even in the 7 stages of diseases that we went down innervation, toxemia, irritation, inflammation, ulceration, induration, which is hardening, and then fungation, which is the cancer. So that's the 7 stages. We go down from one and we go into another. All right. So every cell and tissue can become cancerous. So that meaning that the last stage of all cells of their disease is cancer. The first stage is innervation. That cell or tissue just don't have no power to function. They don't have no energy to do anything. And then toxemia build up in that cell or tissue. That meaning that, toxins, waste and all this is left there because there's no house cleaning. Why? Because the cell don't have no energy to throw off its waste. That waste start irritating that cell to death. It start destroying that cell because the cell can't live in a unclean environment. That's just like in the laboratory when you have these cultures. The cultures, if cells are grown in a culture, that culture must constantly be changed by the scientist. If he neglect to change the culture, that cell inside that culture will soon die real rapidly. If he don't add food to that culture, that cell will die real rapidly. If he don't protect it, like keeping it at the right temperature or anything like that, he'll cause harm and damage to the cell, and the cell will die. So the cell must be in an ideal environment. It must have food. It must be, kept clean, and it must be, kept from harm or danger. So that is the conditions behind a healthy cell. And for us to have healthy cells, we must live in such a way, because our culture is our blood and lymph fluid. So we got to keep our blood and lymph fluid clean. But we can't keep a blood clean. Well, that's the thing. The lymph fluid dumps its waste. The lymph fluid bathes the cells, and all the waste of the cells go into the lymph fluid. The lymph fluid dumps itself into the circulatory system, into your blood. The blood travels to a kidneys, or it travels to the bowels, or it travels to the lungs, and release or eliminate the toxins from the body. So those organs filter that blood. When the blood goes to the kidneys, it filters. The blood runs through the kidneys, and the new clean blood come out of the kidney, and all that waste and filth that the kidneys can filter out of it is left in the kidneys, and it is sent to the bladder, and then is removed out as urine and waste. Same thing with the bowels. When the blood goes to the bowels, the bowels extract solid materials and waste from the blood, and the good blood leaves the colon, while the waste is left behind. Same thing with the lungs. When the blood goes to the lungs, the exchange happens where carbon is exchanged for oxygen. So all the waste material is filtered out of the lungs. The air gases and all are filtered out of the blood, and is removed out of the body. So the blood is being cleansed by the organs of elimination, which is the kidneys, the bowels, and the liver, and the lungs, and the skin. These organs are in constant activity to filter and keep the blood clean. But when these organs have been abused or overused, and the body don't have functioning power, then those organs can't do their job. The lungs can't filter and do the exchange like it need to. Or if it's damaged from us smoking and burning candles and having air wicks and colognes and all other air pollutants that damage our lungs. If the kidneys is damaged from overwork, overuse, from alcohol abuse, from salt poisoning, from all other crystals that damage, the cells and tissues of the kidney. When those things have been damaged, then they can't do the job of filtering anymore. So all this is a major part on why we suffer the issues that we're suffering from, and why disease, manifests from innervation all the way up to a dreaded cancer. But the thing about it is, when these tissues have been abused, if you are aware and you change your lifestyle, because according to Dr. Shelton, there's two stages to healing. The first stage is to remove cause. The second stage is to provide the body with the principles of health. So the first thing is to stop the drunk from drinking. The second thing is to lay him to bed, give him good water, give him rest, and the body will do the work of filtering out all that alcohol poisoning. Let him urinate it out, let him sweat it out, and all the symptoms of him detoxing will take place. And once the detox is over, the man will wake up in his right mind, no more stumbling, no more sweating, none of the symptoms of poison. Now, if he go back to the saloon and start drinking again, then all those symptoms will reappear. This is the same thing with us. Our symptoms are just poisoning from our lifestyle habits. Our habits, we don't see them as poison. We don't see it as alcohol just because it's a chicken leg. We don't see it as cocaine because it's oxtail. We don't see it as, all these other things that we indulge and we know is poison and that we so-called stay away from, or we we don't have no issues dealing with the symptoms of it because we crave the habit. But so is these habits that we are unaware that is causing our sickness and our ailments in our body that we don't know is poison because we call it food. We don't know it's poison because we call it juices and drinks and soda. We don't know it's poison because we call it snacks. We call it cereal. We give it names that is not really a true food, and we call them food. I had people who come to my clinic, or I was helping some of my clients, and I have them on fresh fruits and vegetables. They'd be eating a predominantly raw fruit and vegetable diet, and the people will start feeling amazing. I mean, their health will start improving like tremendously. And right after a week or two of them eating it, and they now don't have their suffering anymore. They sugar levels are normalized, their blood levels is normalized, they have more activity in their limbs, their bones are not aching like it used to be, they're breathing more freely without the asthmatic symptoms or anything like that. And they tell me, well, when can I go back to eating real food? What? What do you mean? You are eating real food. The fruits and the vegetables that you're eating is the real food. That's why your body is healing. When you were eating those toxic poisons is what brought your body down to the state that you're in. Now you're in a hurry to go back to the very thing that produced your asthmatic pain, that's caused your arthritis, that caused you to have your lymphatic swelling going on in your lymph nodes and throughout your body. So the thing is to know that natural hygiene teaches the ideal diet for mankind to live and to maintain himself, to restore himself back to health, and also maintain himself in health. So it's not that, the same thing that makes a man healthy is the same thing that is to keep him healthy. I must have fresh air. Fresh air is needed to restore health, and it's also needed to maintain health. Eating fresh fruits and vegetables will help a man get healthy, and it also maintain his health. You know, Sleep and rest will help give you energy, and it will conserve your energy. So the things that create health are the same things that maintain health. And so the things that break down health are the same things that will cause you keep a man unhealthy. All right. So the things that will make you unhealthy also keeps you unhealthy. You see how that works there. So the thing that makes you drunk will keep you drunk. If you maintain a drip of alcohol going, or you keep the bottle up to your neck, it made you drunk, and it will keep you drunk as long as you got the alcohol bottle turned up. You got you turned up. You got to turn down if you wish to, restore yourself, or restore yourself back to sobriety. All right. So I just wanted to go into that just a little bit to give you a little understanding, a little bit more about natural hygiene and how we teach about, restoring yourself back to health and the only one true cause of disease. You can stop looking for all these so-called causes, or what's the reason, or wonder how I got this disease. Um, According to natural hygiene and the theory of toxemia, innovation is the first stage of all disease. It's the root to every suffering mankind suffer from. He just ran out of energy. He ran out of functioning power. So his body doesn't function It can't protect itself. It can't defend itself. It doesn't have energy to cleanse itself. So it starts, accumulating waste. Cells and tissues start breaking down. No new cells are regrowing and stuff because the body just don't have power. It don't have energy to do so. So the number one thing with maintaining health and keeping keeping sound integrity is to keep high vitality, is to keep power, to generate huge amounts of power. Now, how do we get power? We get power by going to sleep. You go. That's the only way to get power. We think we can get it out of these buku energy drinks, or we can get it out of these 5-hour energy drinks, or these pills, or these teas, these coffees, these things that we use as stimulants. Stimulants don't give you power. They call forth power that you had in backup. They uses up the little power that you have on standby. You know. So all you're doing is calling forth energy that is in reserve in your body when you use stimulants. That's why when after you use the stimulant, your body crashes. And even the stimulant don't even stimulate you no more. And you have to recover long periods to recover the energy that you used up with the stimulant and the energy that you depleted in the first beginning. So that lets you know that these stimulants are not actually giving you any energy. It's just calling forth the energy that your body has in reserve. And if you keep going into your reserve over a good period of time, your body will reach a point where you will incur death. So you don't want to keep tapping into your backup battery. The backup battery is supposed to last you into carrying you into old age. But if you keep dibbling and dabbling in it because you want to eat another piece of chocolate cake, or you got to go through a big bag of chips, or just the habits, you know what I mean? You want to work excessively, or you got to get that next, you know, I had to say it, you know what I'm saying? You want to keep having sex over and over. You want to be that so-called a beast in bed, but you're constantly wasting energy. So with us constantly throwing and throwing away our energy, you know, toxins start building up in our body. And our body will not tolerate much toxin. When you get to a point where your body no longer, can tolerate these poisons, which is your threshold, because everybody has a threshold where their body will not tolerate anything above that threshold. Soon as your body go through a certain threshold, it start opening the gates where things are just pouring out. You come on with start sneezing, you start coughing. So that is the gates opening up to release this excessive waste that is accumulated in your body. You start having it come out through your skin as eruption. You have diarrheas. You have all these waste gates that open up to free the body of its excess. And soon as it come up under that threshold, all the symptoms cut off and disappear. The cough stop, the sneeze stop, the diarrhea stop. So here it is letting you know that this is the true cause behind all those symptoms that we're going. So we now know what caused our colds, our flus, our pneumonias, and all our other so-called, contagious diseases. It's really not contagious. Our body is just running out of energy, and we all in the same environment, and we all eating the same food. So yes, we're going to suffer the same issue. We're breaking down the same way. If all of us go into a pool, we all get wet. If we all go, into the sun, we start sweating. If we go into a dust storm, we all start sneezing. So if the environment produce our symptom, then that's what's going to happen. But let's go back to our topic. We didn't even hit on that, and we already, I believe almost 30 minutes into our show, and we're running on by another 20 minutes. So we're gonna go into this because I did at the end of this show wanted to do a quick little meditation with us here on air, a little guided imagery, really quick. But let's get back to our topic from last week. If you have any questions about anything that we are airing and we talk about here on the show, you can, comment and our producer put it up there. If you have questions about any health issues that you're suffering with, and you can't come to our clinic, here, this is a platform right here. We can discuss your problems if you're okay with it. Most people are ashamed to let people know what they're going through, even though we see what you're going through. We see you hopping, and we see the weight on you and stuff like that. You're not hiding it from anybody. You're just fooling yourself. But when you're able to take responsibility and say, hey, this is what I want to do, I'm not worrying about what other people think. I'm going to go and do this thing. Stop worrying about what people think, and just manifest yourself. People ain't going to even care in a couple of months when you around here, muscled up, feeling healthy, no longer suffering with your disease. You think they're going to be out there like, oh, I remember when you. No, they're going to be asking you, man, what can I do to get healthy? What did you do? What gave you that power? What gave you the strength? What gave you the discipline? So, the thing is for you to take responsibility of your health, change your lifestyle habits where you can help somebody else. Right now, you hindering somebody. I'm gonna say it like that. You're hindering somebody from getting healthy because until they see you, they might not never change. I'm putting that on your heart. I'm putting that on your mind. You know what I mean? So, everybody know when you start changing and people come to you and say, well, what you did, show me what you did. So get healthy where people in your family can know how to get healthy. Learn natural hygiene. Follow us here every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. All right. You can also get in touch with us at Savannah Natural Health, 912-272-8381. If you need reading material to help you and guide you, put you in a state of mind to heal yourself, we got hygienic literature. You can go to Amazon, type in Ferrante Frazier. We have books and programs to help you. You can call us at 912-272-8381. We can ship it out to you. If you're in the Savannah area, Port Wentworth, Pooler area of Georgia, you can come by and meet with us personally. If you want to fly in from wherever, you can come in and meet us, and we'll help guide you and restore you back to health using natural hygiene. Nothing in our teachings have anything to do with medicine. So, if you're looking for medicine, this is the wrong person. This is the wrong, techniques. This is the wrong modality because we don't believe in curing. We don't believe in even stopping the cough. We let it run a course. We don't stop diarrhea. We let it run a course. But we remove what is causing it. We remove the cause where the symptom will cut off on its own. It's a saying that Dr. Shelton used to talk about in some of his lectures. He would tell a story about a guy who was in charge of an insane asylum. He was the president of a insane asylum, and somebody came to him at this place of work and said, "Well, Prez, there's a flooding going on in the basement. The whole basement is flooded." Now, one of the simpletons, that's what they call him, a simpleton. He was one of the inhabitants of the insane asylum. He lived there, you know. So the simpleton said, I'll go down there and mop her up. I'll go mop her up for you. So the prez thought about that and said, okay, because he said, I'll do it for $2 a day. He said, I'll go down there and mop up the water. I'll mop her up for $2 a day. And so the president of this sane asylum was like, wow, $2 a day? But it's a steal. And he thought to himself, oh, I'm about to get over on this simpleton. You know what I'm saying? Give him $2 to go and mop that up. Okay. So he said, bet, go ahead. So the simpleton, went on about his way, went down there to the basement and, went to mopping up the water. A week later, the same excuse me, yeah. The same man came in and was like, man, it's flooded down there in the basement. And he was like, the prez was like, what you mean it's flooded? The simpleton supposed to went down there and mopped up the water. So both of them went down to the basement to analyze what's going on down there. And sure enough, they look down there, and the simpleton is just down there, just mopping up the water, just mopping up the water. And the president look over and see where the water was coming from, and it was a sink that was on, that was turned high all the way on, and it had a sock that was stuck in the sink that was causing it to spill over. So the water was running full blast, and there was something that was stopping up the water from draining properly. So the water was spilling over onto the floor, and it was constantly just spilling over on the floor. The president looked at the simpleton and said, "You fool, you idiot, what are you doing?" He said, "Well," he said, "why you won't cut the water off?" The president said, "Why you won't just cut the water off?" And he said, "Well, I'm not getting paid to cut the water off. I'm getting paid $2 a day to mop her up." And that's what, most of the medical people and the herb and the remedy people are doing. They're not getting paid to remove the cause, cut the water off. They're not getting paid to unplug the sink. They're getting paid to keep palliating the symptoms, keep mopping her up, keep stopping the coughing, the sneezing and stuff. They're not trying to figure out what's the cause of the sneeze, what's causing the coughing, long as I can prevent the coughing and stop the sneezing. So that's a mopper up action. So we don't mop people up. We cut the sink off, and we unplug the sink. We take that sock out of the sink and allow the water to drain properly. So we allow your body to drain and filter its waste properly. We remove the cause. We don't do anything with using tonics and remedies or anything like that. So Dr. Shelton always gave wonderful illustrations on how wonderful the human body works. So we thank him for his contribution, and all of the other hygienic doctors who I've learned from through my years of teaching natural hygiene. A lot of our present day hygienists who are staying true to hygiene. We got some of them. I look around, and we have a lot of our hygienists who are sliding over into the medical mentality now, believing in cures, want to use supplements and all kind of other stuff. When it was tried and true, would heal them and heal so many other people by just sticking to the basics of natural hygiene. You can't call it natural hygiene if they're not following the natural way. They got to call it some other hygiene, some artificial hygiene. All right. So when you obey the healthy side of the spectrum of life, you are rewarded with the regeneration of the organism when you clean up the blood. So when the blood is cleaned up, you start seeing the organism start getting healthier. But the organism can't get healthy if the blood is still toxic. And we just talked, I gave you a whole spiel on that at the beginning, how how toxins in the blood remain there, and how they get there in the first beginning, and how to clean that up. So you clean that up, and you start being rewarded with health. You start seeing your skin getting pretty. You start seeing your bowels move more efficiently. You start seeing better urine flow. You started feeling more energetic. So the conditions around your body start changing for favorable conditions. Now, it cannot use any kind of outside influence to regenerate itself other than the conditions that are vital to existence. So the only things that can help the body restore itself is fresh air, sunlight, water, ideal foods, maintaining normal temperatures, rest and relaxation. So it's natural things. It's not going to be no herb, no remedy, none of this outside stuff that can create health in the human body. The body only need the natural elements that is needed in health and is needed when in sickness. It's needed in a person who is sick. It must also be maintained in a person who is healthy. We talked about that. This is vital relation. The power that built the part is also the same power that repairs and saves the part. This is also the same power that is needed to maintain the part from the on from then on if the organism wish to maintain regeneration. All right, so this is vital relation here. This is the law of vital relation. It says the power that built the part is also the same power that repairs and saves the part. So the same power or life force that created you from the baby in your mother's womb and put out limbs and stretched out your feet and put a head there and allowed you to have sight, taste, smell, feeling, that got your heart beating, that stretched out the lungs and expand them to breathe, the same power that stimulates and cause your peristaltic motion in your digestive tract to move food throughout your digestive tract. The same power that causes the circulatory system to carry blood throughout your body and for cells to regenerate and destroy themselves and remove themselves from the body and new ones to take its place. The same power that does that is the same power that heals you when you have a cut, that mend bones when you have a breakage, that restore your body back to a functioning power when you have all the ailments that you suffer from. It's the same power. The same power that is going to be with you until the day you die. This power is the same power that built you, and it's the same power that is going to keep you. Your thing is to maintain that power, to keep that power high and healthy inside of you. So this is the law of vital relation. The more the 10 ways are suppressed, the 10 ways of health that we talk about with the cleanliness, the fresh air, the sunlight, the ideal food, clean drinking water, rest and relaxation, normal temperatures, regular exercise, nurturing relationships, and emotional poise. Those things, when they are obeyed, um, the more they are obeyed, you're going to quickly see your body heal. When they are suppressed, when people are not getting rest, not drinking clean water, not eating ideal food, not getting fresh air, not going out into the sunlight, not keeping their body clean, not allowing themselves to maintain normal temperature, got stress in their life, got friends and family and environments that are toxic, then there's a less chance of survival or regeneration of worn out cells and tissues in the body. Even for you, the more the 10 ways are restored and followed, it increases the ability of survival and regeneration in your body. Now, the power of rejection and the elimination of all waste and useless toxic substances. The first three power understandings depend on power of the living matter, and it utilizes different material from out of its environment, transform it into matter like itself, and allow it to become part of living structure. All right. So the power that we were talking about from last week and the power that I've just been discussing depends on the living matter to utilize different material. It takes for the body, the cells and tissue to make use of different materials, to make use of the air, to make use of the sun, to make use of water, to make use of food. And appropriate it. You have to pull it from out of the environment, bring it in, absorb it, and then transform it into matter like itself. So it got to bring in the material, digest it or break it down, and then restructure it into tissues like itself. And allow it to become part of living structure. It got to bring it to life. The power of refusal and waste removal is just as important as the other three. So there's a power of refusal and the waste removal. So the body has to have power to bring in and appropriate material and create new structure, but it also has to have power to tear down old structure and remove it out of the body. This is the last power that we're talking about here. The power to regenerate and to heal, and living matter having the ability to regenerate itself. But it has to be able to remove waste. You can't restore a house without removing old toilets, old wallpapers, pulling out old carpets and stuff like that. It gotta have waste removal. So the body must have waste removal. All right. It have to also have the power to refuse and reject poison and stuff that it cannot utilize. Makes no sense bringing in materials in a house that the house don't need. You bringing in 100 toilets. What you need 100 toilets in a house for? All you need is, if you got 3 bathrooms, all you need is 3 toilets. All right. But if the Home Depot is steady bringing in toilet commodes by the truckload, you're gonna be out there like, what is you doing? I don't need this. So you refuse and you reject to take any more. That's the power that you have. Otherwise, you're gonna be around here with a house full of toilets everywhere. Every room gonna have 10, 15, 20 toilets in it, and it's gonna look terrible. It's gonna look, trashy. It's gonna be just a waste. So that's the same thing with the human body. The human body has the power to reject and refuse material that it doesn't need, that is actually harmful to it. It's not going to take in this stuff. That's why you start having a reaction to poisons when you start eating them, when you start drinking them, when you come close to them. The body is reacting. It's rejecting the use of anything. You start drinking alcohol and you start urinating excessively. You think that the body needed alcohol? It's trying to get rid of it. You're drinking tea. The tea is going out of your body rapidly. You think the body needed that? No, it's rejecting it by you. It's throwing it out, or you vomit this stuff out. So if your body start rejecting it by throwing it out through one of your avenues of elimination, you start having a diarrhea, you start having excessive urination, you start sweating, some form of releasing your body of this material is letting you know that your body is rejecting it. But that's the power that the body has. Ain't that good news? Otherwise, you would be allowed to just bring anything in and you'd be dead long time ago. Some of us don't know better. Only when our body aches and hurt do we stop eating. Our body didn't reject food, or we'll eat on a diseased stomach. Some of us don't have the power of refusal in our mind. But the body had to do it on its own. We almost be dead before we stop doing the bad habit. if it's left up to us. We have organs that are under normal conditions peculiar to humans, that excrete and eliminate all waste matter and toxins. So under normal conditions, we have these organs that are only peculiar to humans, that only humans have, that excrete and eliminate all waste matter, like the lungs, the skin, the kidneys, the bowels, liver, and mucous surfaces of our hollow organs. That's why we start having this coughing from our throat, sneezing from our nose, waste coming out of our eyes, cold and stuff, waste coming out of our ears. Those are the hollow organs of the mucous membrane. These organs become fatigued from overuse or abuse. They must perform their duties at all times. This means that they are always standing at their post to detoxify the blood at any given time. If the blood toxins reach a level that the body cannot tolerate without compromising its integrity. So these organs, the kidneys can't decide when it want to work. As long as it got power and it has the function or the structure to do work, it got to do work. So it's going to work itself literally to death. But now it's only going to work as long as you bring poison in it. As long as you bring poison into the body, the kidneys is going to have to get rid of that poison. So it's going to use energy. It's going to function to rid the body and protect the body uh, by helping it survive the onslaught of toxins that you allowed in its domain. So anytime something toxic come into the domain, organs and tissues and systems must go to work to defend the body, or else the body will die. So that's like with liquor. You know, some of us drink enough liquor to kill us. But glad that the kidneys go straight to work and start filtering the body of the excess of poison. The liver start neutralizing these poisons, where it render them less toxic to the cells and tissues of the body. Sweat, the skin starts sweating out, and you start having this hot fever where the body creates to sweat out some of this alcoholic poison. So at all times, the body start acting in defense of the to defend itself from the poisons that we've allowed in. Now that's just alcohol that I'm using. You know, same thing with the food. You see people start eating food and start sweating. Their body is trying to rid itself of that waste as well. So we go back to toxins accumulate in the blood, which is toxemia. Toxemia, we go back to the 7 stages of disease. You know, innervation. This is Dr. Tilden talking about the theory of toxemia. Innervation leads to toxemia, poison blood. Poison blood irritates the cells and tissue because that's what poison does while it's left in the blood. Under normal conditions, the organs of elimination will filter that blood of that waste. But when those organs and tissues are innervated, fatigued, have no functioning power, low in vitality, low in nerve energy, they don't function. They don't filter the blood. The blood remains toxic, and your habits don't change. So the toxins accumulate. They get stacked on top of each other. And this toxic accumulation is spreading throughout the body, irritating and damaging cells, causing inflammation. The inflammation causes ulceration, where you start having breakage and sores and wounds. Then hardening sets in. Constant irritation eventually leads to a hardening, calluses, and all type of stuff like that. That hardened tissue no longer do the work of soft tissue. A hard lung can expand to bring in oxygen or to expel carbon. A kidney that is hardened can't filter out waste. A colon that is hardened can't have peristaltic action or filter out solid matter from the blood. So these organs and tissues at end stages are no longer capable or structured to do the work that they were designed to do. And this happened from constant abuse, overuse, and neglect to properly, allow rest to your body and to provide the body with the right materials to heal themselves. I want to thank you for allowing us to, finish up this episode. I do wish that I could have more interaction with my, listeners and those who, um, check out our show. Share it with as many people as you possibly can. Those who suffering with diseases, share it with your friends, share it with your enemies. Like I always say, they possibly have become your friend. You know, you'll definitely be my friend if you show me a way to get rid of my high blood sugar and how to get, over my cancers and all type of other so-called diseases that mankind suffer from. You'll be my friend. You know, I'll make sure I get you a present for Christmas. So let's look at the regeneration recap real quick, because we're about to be getting off air in just a second. Allow the living matter to cure itself by supplying the condition it needs to accomplish this, and not by doctors or medicine or herbs. So if you want your body to heal, supply the body with the conditions for healing. And we told you the condition. We call it this the 10 Commandments of Hygiene, or the 10 requisites of hygiene. How the organism is able to arrange itself, like it put things in the right place for it to thrive and survive. You know, the body does this work. No tissue, no medicine can do the work. No medicine can create a heart and put the heart right there in the middle and make it beat and put blood, make blood go around and create blood and all this stuff. No medicine on earth can create a being. You never seen no baby come out of a medicine bottle. No herbs or remedies can create a organism. So it's the body created itself. The power that it has, it maintains itself, it defends itself, it repairs itself. It does everything all by itself. It don't need you to do anything except for remove the cause. If you're in a fire, it needs you to get your tail out of that fire. And it will do the work of healing. You don't have to do anything else. You just need to get your tail out of that fire. You got to think about it. Feet is where the best place it should be, and all other parts. No medicine can do any of that. Medicine don't have no intelligence to do any of this stuff. This is the body doing it. When you realize that the body is the only actor in all this melodrama, Dr. Shelton would say, it's a melodrama going on in that body. You just don't know. Even how we see when the body places tumors and polyps and winds and cysts in your body, it's placing it in the best place possible. Because if it was placed anywhere else, you probably would have been dead a long time ago. So every action of the body is to preserve and give you just a little bit more time of life. The body organism want to live as long as it possibly can, even while you're trying to kill yourself. It's trying to hold on. It's doing everything it can to hold on and do things to preserve itself and to give you another day of life. Now, you can extend this thing and make it easy for the body, but you have to get in tune with natural hygiene. So follow us every Tuesday here at 6 o'clock. Tune in. Tell a friend, promote, donate to our cause. Go to ATR Media and donate to the show. They got Our Black Media, where they're on Roku now. Go and find the channel and add it on Roku, where you can look at a lot of the shows right there from your front room, your living room. You can sit down and just be watching Our Black Media and looking at all things relevant. Go to Facebook and look at it. Go to YouTube and look up all things relevant Black Media, Our Black Media, and follow, like, and share. This is what's relevant in our community. You know me, I'm the holistic practitioner Ferrante Frazier out of Savannah, Georgia. We operate Savannah Natural Health. Look us up, 912-227-8381. Best of health. And I'll see you next week. I love you.
like this.